Hey guys, Patrick Wind here and welcome to this training model in which I'm going to show you how to optimize on ad set level. So optimization on ad set level is actually the most important one because here we can do not only the budget allocations but we can also deactivate the poorly performing ones and duplicate the well performing ones. So let's go right into it. On the very first moment we have to differentiate between prospecting and retargeting campaigns and therefore ad sets, and I would recommend to start always with the prospecting ones. Okay, so let's start with the prospecting campaigns, and now we see which ad sets we have active still. So when I do my optimizations, I usually the first thing I do is I go into my prospecting campaigns, then I filter for my active ad sets. Here you could either do campaign deliveries active or not. You can do ad set delivery or ad delivery. I recommend to choose ad delivery because it's the most granular level, and if the ad is active, it means automatically that also the ad set and the campaign has to be active. So if you filter for ad delivery active, you can be sure that you only have the campaigns and ad set that are also active. Okay, so as I said, I start with the prospecting campaigns. Here I go into it, I check the ad sets that I have in this campaign. So in this specific case I have 5 different ad sets with different budgets. Okay, actually all of them perform pretty nicely for being prospecting when it comes to ROAS. Okay, first I take a look in a general macro perspective, so the entire month of July including today. Okay, so I see in terms of ROAS we're doing pretty good. Okay, also our cost per website checkout is pretty good. It's like a third of what our cost per website purchase is. That's good. Add to cart to purchase, actually pretty good. So many people actually initiate the payment process after they have added to the shopping cart. Content views, okay, so all of the numbers are good. Then I take a look at the upper funnel KPIs like CTR and CPC. We're a little bit below 1%, so it's not completely mind-blowingly awesome, but it is what it is. Could be better. Okay, now let's take a look on how we can optimize that. So the first thing is we could reallocate our budget. So between the 5 ad sets we could give some of them more or less budget. When it comes to ROAS, we would be pretty tempted to actually take this one and give some budget from here to the others, and I think that's something we could do. However, this one, and now we have to take a look at the absolute numbers, brought a huge amount of the sales that we got. Okay, and then the cost per website purchase is also higher than in the other ones. The cost per add to cart is higher than the other ones. So I take a look in comparison to the specific other ad sets, but I always compare this number to the benchmark down here. Okay, and if I take a look at the ROAS is lower than in all the others and lower than in the benchmark. The cost per website purchase is higher and higher than the benchmark. The same with the add to cart. When it comes to initiate checkout, we are okay. When it comes to add to carts, we are okay. When it comes to content views, we are okay. But we have very high volume here. Okay, so that is actually not that bad. Also the click-through rates are pretty high. Let's take a look at what kind of ads do we have in here. Okay, surprise, surprise. The one with the highest click-through rate, I mean, take a look at that, 3 times higher than this one, 2 times higher than this one, is the collection ad. Okay, so if we just compare those 3 ads, we see that the collection ad really got 3 times higher click-through rates than just the carousel ones, which is something that I see pretty often nowadays because collection ads really perform very nicely. So this one actually has the same copy than the others. it just has a different ad type, which is the collection ad. So interesting. If we would optimize on ad level, what we're going to do in the next video, we will definitely take a look at this one and consider turning off one of those carousels. But right now we are on ad set level, okay? And now the question is, should we reallocate some budget? Well, yes. What I would do is, I think this has too much budget, so I would reduce this budget by less than 15%. And let's see if we have also another ad set that is overspending, therefore has no good results. I mean, they're all pretty good for being prospecting, right? So all the others are okay. The second highest cost per website purchase is this one. Also, if I just take a look at these numbers in comparison to the benchmark, they are okay. It's actually not that bad. The only from these 5 ad sets where I really would reallocate some budget is I would take it from here. So now the question is, oof, so what is less than 15%, let's say 14% from this amount of money? Well, actually the easiest way is to just go in here, edit budget, okay? And once you edit your budget, you can simply decrease daily budget by a certain percentage. For example, let's say 14%. So we would decrease it to 71.44, which is exactly 14% less. And then I publish it and we're good. Okay. So that was the first change. Now the question is there one ad set where I could actually increase the budget? For example, this one. Here I got the highest ROAS, got the lowest cost per website purchase. Let's take a look at the other numbers. Initiate checkout, higher than average, but then add to cart, the lowest one from all of them we have. Okay, so for me this one is actually pretty good. Let's take a look also at the upper funnel KPIs. Click-through rate is okay, not amazing, really not amazing, but if I just compare it to the others, okay, now I would like to understand what kind of ads do we have in here. Okay, oh, surprise, surprise. We have 2 carousels in one collection, and once again the collection has the highest click-through rates by far, okay, 3 times higher, 4 times higher, and that's something that we will do in the next video, go through all of these specific ads. But now on ad set level, I think it's pretty clear that this one we can give more budget, so we do it once again, but now the other way around. Okay, so now we want to increase the daily budget by 14%, for example. Now we increase this one. And that is very good. So we already allocated budget properly. Now the question is, should we deactivate one of these ad sets? No. In my point of view, we should not deactivate one of these ad sets, but the question is, should we probably create a micro variation of these specific ad sets? And my answer is clearly yes, we should definitely do that. So for example, we could take the one with the highest ROAS, this one, duplicate it and create a micro variation. Okay, so micro variation could be everything. Okay, so it just needs to be a little bit different to the other one. Of course, we do not want to start with 84 euros. We would like to start with 10 euros or something. And one option for a micro variation would be change to a different optimization event. For example, add to cart or initiate checkout. So that would be one micro variation that we could do. Another micro variation is, now we have only shown it to men, we could also show it only to women or to both genders. Another micro variation would be to show it instead of full Spain, just show it to people in Barcelona and Madrid, for example, so just the capital cities. This would be a micro variation. Micro variation would be to change the age. Let's say I'm interested in only people in their 20s. So that would be an option for micro variation. I could of course change the audiences. So instead of including this additional filter for engaged shoppers, I could get rid of that one. I could play around with the expand interest when it may increase conversion at low. So this is also a micro variation. If I click on this button, I could exclude people who like my page. This is a micro variation. I could show it only in specific placements. Instead of doing all, I could select probably these ones just as an option. One micro variation would be only when connected to Wi-Fi. Okay, this is an option. Then of course I could change to landing page views. I could apply different bid strategies. Okay, I could play around with the target cost bid strategy, with the lowest cost bid strategy, with a bid cap. So you see, I have many options when it comes to creating micro variations on ad set level. Okay, and in order to continue this little analysis, let's also take a look at the retargeting ad sets that we have active. In retargeting, we see that we have much lower budgets in this specific one, and now I would really understand why we have so low budgets here. So for example, this one has a ROAS of 7. So the first thing I would like to do is already increase this one. It's even double this one, because we know in retargeting the learning phase doesn't matter to us. It's much more about the order effect. Therefore, we really should always optimize on purchase, which we do nicely here. Okay, and now the question is why we have so low budgets here. For example, here of 8 euros. Let's also make this one to 12, for example. And what about the other ad sets that have not brought any sales? I mean, this one has brought 28 sales, has a ROAS of over 4, cost per initiate checkout of 3 euros, cost per add to cart of 2.60 euros. This one deserves much more budget, to be honest. So I would even give this one significantly more budget. But the question is now, what about all the other ad sets that haven't brought any sales, but apparently have spent some money? Question is, can we increase them or not? Well, actually this one not too much. The cost per website content view is much higher than the average. Cost per landing page view as well. Even though I got a high click-through rate, but the CPM is very high. So let's see what we have in here. Okay, 2 different ads. And the question would be if we could help this specific ad sets by including a collection ad, because as we very well know, collection ads always get the highest click-through rates. Yes, I mean, this one has already 2 collection ads in it, which is good. That's also the reason why it got high click-through rates. So you see the click-through rate was more than 1%, but the CPM was simply very high. So this specific audience is not the best one. So I'd like to understand why it has such high CPMs. Okay. So in this specific case, where we have clearly seen that the ads are good with high click rates, but the CPM is way too high, what I would definitely do is I would turn this one off, because it didn't bring any sales so far and not any lower funnel KPIs, and so it's not worth spending money there. Now let's talk about these 2 ones. Okay, checkout very high, okay. Add to cart very high, okay. And then content views, okay, but much higher than the average. Okay, very high cost per click. So the the one for desktop right column, I would actually also not continue. And the one for stories, we spent 20 euros, only brought one checkout. No, I also don't like this one too much, to be honest. So if I just take a look at the performance we got here, this would be the right way to optimize. Okay, and now when it comes to retargeting, when we just want to talk about budget allocation, I clearly see that these two ones are amazing, and I wonder why this one only has 15 euros daily budget. So I would really like to increase it to 22. This is a micro variation of the initial one. Okay, so it was just reduced to 3 days and it performed very nicely. Okay, it already brought 3 sales with almost nothing in investment, so that's also why I would increase the budget here. Let's take a look at the first one. Should we probably decrease the budget? Well, content views, oof, very high. Landing page view, double. Okay, cost per click 3 times higher. Low click-through rates, I would turn this one off because it didn't perform nearly as well as the other ones. And so the cool thing is, because I have this ad delivery active filter applied, now I only see the campaigns and the ad sets that still remain. Okay, and we did actually pretty good cleaning of all the ad sets that have performed nicely and the ones that have not performed so nicely. We have reallocated some budget. I've shown you how we can do micro variations of an ad set that has performed well, and I also deactivated some ads that have performed worse than the other ones. So guys, thank you very much for listening, and see you in the next video when it goes about optimization on ad level. So take care, goodbye.